Silicon Valley.
It's more than just this conference. Relationships started, businesses started, so many wonderful things came out of those connections that were formed.
Hey guys, in this video I'll be discussing the Afrotech conference in Houston that happened last week. In this video I'll talk about my experiences, my day by day, and some final thoughts on the conference. And make sure you stay until the end because I'll give out some good tips and comments on the conference. To set the stage, I work in tech, and I went to Afrotech for the first time back in 2019 when it was in Oakland. At that time, I went with my company, I worked the booths, I did the other stuff with my team, and yada yada yada. This time my company went, but didn't sponsor me, so not happy about that. This is all to say that my experience might have been different if I just went as a regular attendee back in 2019, or if I went with my company this time, so keep that in mind as I'm talking and explaining my experiences. With that said, let's get into it. Alright, morning guys, welcome to the start of the Afrotech vlog. So right now, I'm just finished getting ready. It is Wednesday, it's about like 11:15 or so getting there a little bit later than I would have expected, but it was just busy work and stuff that I had to deal with. So excited to kick off this Afrotech week. I haven't been to Afrotech since 2019, so it'll be interesting to see how it's grown, what it's become, and the people there, and just the vibe. Because when I went before, it was in Oakland in 2019. Now it's in Houston, so I feel like a lot closer to a lot of Black population, a lot better culture out in Houston. So it should be a vibe. So I'm gonna head over to the George R. Brown Convention Center, and then we'll see what is up. I showed up around 11:30 a.m. to the Discovery Green George R. Brown Convention Center on the first day to check things out and to make sure I was there before the opening ceremony. In retrospect though, I wouldn't have come as early as I did. It was cool to walk around Discovery Green, check out the food trucks and talk to some people, but I could have come an hour before and still done all that. I think the most significant feeling I had during those first moments being at the conference at the convention center was actually a bit of shock, but in a good way. I realized I hadn't been around so many Black people for a long time. After attending multiple PWIs and working in the Bay, nowadays I can count the number of Black people I see on my fingers. So come to Afrotech for me was like, oh damn, like this is how other groups get to live daily. I use one description a brother used when I was speaking to him on the conference. It was rejuvenating.
There's a ton of people out here. It's wild, a lot of energy. So I'm still looking to find out where I could go ahead and get my badge at. There's a lot going on right now. Luckily, no activities have started, so that's good. But yeah, still looking to find out where I need to go. All right, let's get set. Hey, what's good, bro? Appreciate y'all. Some bros just getting set up there and helping set up this beautiful, wonderful event for us. So, but yeah, I'm just walking around the third floor, and it's interesting just seeing everything getting set up, how much is built out right now, how different it is from 2019. Because in 2019, when I went to Oakland, this was a lot smaller thing. Like you see, if I turn around right here, right, how big this thing is behind me, how big the convention center is itself, George R. Brown Convention Center, and how much space, how many people are going to be here. It's really crazy to see it. I'm here for it though. I mean, I'm literally here for it. So it should be a fun event. It should be good. Lots of connections. I already started talking to some people already, and should talk to a lot more people coming up soon. So yeah, I'm just all around very excited. And now I'm at the end of the hallway, and let me turn this around. This is probably going to be the stage that I'm most interested in right here. So this is the AI and cybersecurity stage. So I've been really interested in cybersecurity recently, and maybe trying to do a little pivot to cybersecurity, maybe send AI in there. I mean, AI and cybersecurity go hand in hand, so maybe that's why they group those together right there. You can see, if I take a peek inside right now, they're not done setting up yet. They're gonna have a lot to do probably over throughout the night and throughout the morning. But yeah, it's shaping up to be a really dope event. And the vibes are good, and yeah, the people are trickling in.
Eventually, the time passed and I went to the opening ceremony. It was a crazy amount of people in the room. The vibe was great. I wouldn't say anything particular stood out in that opening ceremony, except just for the raw feeling of community and the power that I have and that we have as a collective to impact change.
Both of y'all raising your hands together in unison. Come on.
I was full of ambition, but so unaware of the tech industry that I almost let it pass me by. It was my sophomore year when I applied for a Google Bold internship. They had this amazing program recruiting young Black talent, and guess what? I got in. But you won't believe what happened next. I declined the offer. Can you guess why I declined it?
After the ceremony, I went to this Google Mixer event. The logistics and getting into the event were a mess, but more on that stuff later. Overall, it was all right. I met some cool people. I mean, later on I'll touch on more of the parties and events, but to talk about a little bit now, there's a ton of them and you don't need to even go to the conference to attend most of them. The next day was the quote-unquote real first day of action. I had talks and sessions I wanted to attend, but also wanted to spend some time on the expo floor chatting with companies.
Alright guys, so we're walking around the conference. It is crazy out here, so many different people, all the companies, so it's really good to be on the expo floor and get to see the people and talk to them, so it's real nice.
I went to many sessions, but I think the ones I liked the best were a short talk about the state of the cyber industry and a creator meetup mixer event hosted by Twitch. An interesting thing I found out was that there was a hackathon done for Afrotech. It looked like the people had to submit their projects beforehand and only the winners presented on stage. It was a cool thing to see and a good way to bring a more technical aspect into the conference.
Alright guys, so it is the end of the second day, or I guess technically the first day, Thursday. Yesterday was the day for registration and I'm completely tired now. I really feel like going home, but I think I'm going to try to check out another event by Silicon Valley Bank. I think Silicon Valley Bank and Salesforce are doing a combo event at the House of Blues, so I think I may check that out and then head back home. But first day, second day, whatever you think about it, it was really dope. We met a lot of cool people, did a lot of cool things, a lot of cool sessions, so it was really a good event to go to, and I'm really happy I showed up.
Friday, like Thursday, I wanted to go to some more sessions and connect with more people. There was a great talk I went to about the behind the scenes of VC funding. Another great talk that was really authentic and informative was about navigating the tech landscape presented by ServiceNow.
Basically only have 3 months to figure out whether that works or not. Well, you have 3 months, 2 months to build it, then another couple months to figure out whether it worked or not, and then you might be basically trying to fundraise immediately after that. And if it didn't work, you're pretty much out of cash. For 98% of businesses across the country, that would be a terrible idea to take.
2% of us, less than 2% of these tech roles are held by us. It gets a little scarier when you start talking about AI. And so I just wonder, like, have we forgotten to activate our community and to remind ourselves that we belong in these rooms, we belong in tech, we have a seat at these tables, we have something to say.
During the day, I also hit up the Kickback event hosted by Google at Chapman and Kirby. Now that event was really nice and well executed. So, I mean, y'all know Google has money and there's good people working there, so I wasn't surprised. And then finally, the last session of the conference I went to was a fireside chat with Bun B talking about entrepreneurship, hip hop, and more. Being from Houston, I know about Trollburger and some other things Bun B has done, but it was cool to hear him talk about the process, the why, and other things at length. The last event I went to in the evening was an event hosted by CrowdStrike. That event was really well run, I thought, and had some good conversations with the people there. And technically, there were things still going on Saturday, but I didn't go to the events. I know the expo was running for half a day, plus there was an official day party and the official closing party. I mean, I'm sure people went and had a good time. I also know a lot of people left late Friday or Saturday too. So if you did go to anything Saturday, comment below and let me know how it was. Overall, I thought the conference was good. It's crazy to see how much it's grown since 2019 when I was back in Oakland and coming full circle for me to be in my hometown in Houston. So for the growth and just all the work, I want to give a big shout out to the Blavity team. I think the conference highlights the power of representation and the future of Black tech, among many things. Many people I talked to mentioned how rejuvenating the conference was and how it made them feel empowered. Along those lines, I think a big takeaway for me was just to stay connected to a community and make sure you go through things with your tribe. It's also interesting to think about the ripple effect the conference is having and will have in Houston, in Texas, and even beyond. Now, with that said, there's definitely room for improvement, and I hope the conference will evolve each year and get better. So, where do I start? First thing I'd say is that if you decide to come to Afrotech, which I generally recommend you do, you have to understand what the conference is for. This is not a conference where people are going to be whipping out the IDEs and coding and whatnot. Maybe they'll integrate more deeper technical aspects in the future, but that doesn't seem to be the focus right now. I'd say the conference is more so for networking and job hunting. So on the networking side, it's great. And I think the conference creates spaces and situations for those conversations to happen. I think the team can even lean more into ways to create those organic networking moments. As for the jobs, there's multiple expo days with tons of companies, tons of reps, tons of people to talk to. There's also lots of sessions and sponsored events so you can shoot your shot and try to get an interview and eventually land that job. Now for the parties. Some would say the conference is really for parties. I don't think that's accurate. Now, there were tons of events and parties going on, but most of them aren't directly associated with Afrotech. In fact, I met a number of people who didn't even go to the conference that were at these mixers and parties. I just think that mentally people link everything that's going on with Afrotech, but there's a distinction. Overall, I think the logistics of the events I went to could have been better. Maybe it was because it was the first time the team was in Houston and you need to get some more reps to get a good flow in. I'm not completely sure, but hopefully next year things run smoothly. All right, so now for some tips. So we all know the conference is going to be back in Houston in 2025. So my first tip is to game plan. We know what a conference is. We have the dates. Now we can just work backwards. Figure out if you should attend the conference. And after that, if you are going to attend, what you hope to get out of it. Having that intentionality will help you move and plan correctly. The next thing I'll say is to plan out your hotel and flights. Now, at the time we're recording this video, it'll be pretty early, but I'd say book stuff at least 3 months before. If you're trying to get sponsored by your company, start having those conversations with your manager and your team, I'd say by the end of Q1. If you can stay downtown or near downtown, I'd recommend it because it'll just make things easier for you. And also parking downtown and around Houston is pretty expensive, so I'd recommend just Ubering instead of renting a car, unless you have some other plans around downtown or exploring around the city further at the further edges. As for the events, they fill up super quick, so RSVP as soon as you see them pop up. I personally missed out on some things because I didn't understand people were signing up so fast, so make sure you don't make the same mistake as I did. In closing, I'd say I enjoyed Afrotech overall. You can look into it and see what is for you or not. If not Afrotech, I recommend you get connected through some other community or attend another conference like NESB, for example. Also, with that and with everything you do, just remember to think about ways you can help empower Black tech professionals. And then my last comment is that Afrotech is a professional conference, so let's all do our part to make sure sponsors and companies keep supporting it. With that, let me know what you thought about the conference or questions you have. Drop a like if the video was helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more tech content. Talk to y'all later.
This is a life-changing experience.